What's going on, gamers? So we got some nice estimates here coming over from Alea Analytics. And apparently Halo Campaign Evolved has sold 1.2 million copies across all devices, right? Which is a flop for Halo. It should at least be minimum at 2.5 million, heading towards 3 million. Now, when Forza launched, it was doing very well. It didn't even include PlayStation. So we got some interesting stuff to cover here. And that's also just comparing console to console, PlayStation 5 to Steam third-party support, and what AGN has been trying to tell you for a while. That PlayStation third-party support is not something Microsoft can afford to avoid. That Steam is going to be supporting less than PlayStation, except when it comes to Capcom third-party. Other than that, it's like, and that's not Microsoft, I'm just saying in general. Other than that, PlayStation is the platform for third-party support, right? Not a question. It's like Microsoft has to pick a lane, and it's going to have to either be being a strong third-party publisher or trying to play the exclusive game, which we know is just over with. So it's pretty obvious that they're going to need PlayStation, and they're also going to need Nintendo Switch 2 because they actually buy full-price games, and Nintendo gamers buy games and play a lot of games. There's no doubt about that. It is a growing third-party market that is steadily increasing. As the install base increases, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. So going on this post right here, we get the idea, and we have a lot to read here, and then we're going to take a look at the charts. It gets very interesting. So starting off, we can go down and take a look at this chart real quick, then we're going to read some stuff. So if you guys look, and I get off the camera real quick, Steam is only at 17.4% support for Halo. I told you they were going to be the least supportive. PlayStation actually sold the most. The reason why you see 41.8% for Xbox is because they're including stuff outside of the Xbox world on the PC app. Even if you bought it on mobile, it doesn't matter. Right here, he says it right here, Xbox console and PC with Game Pass upsells. We reported last week, now removed. So they removed the Game Pass upsells because that's not a sale if somebody gets a $20 upgrade on limited edition. As I told you before, I can go buy the Control expansion that I got for PlayStation Plus, but I didn't buy the base game. So if you just include Xbox console and PC, then it's 42%. So, and after that, PlayStation is 41% and Steam is 17%. Do we see this right here? Once again, this just gives you the idea. You ignoring PlayStation is absolutely dumb for Gears of War, because guess what? If you put Gears of War on PlayStation, they're going to buy more copies than Steam will. So you're already being a third-party publisher by not having it as an Xbox exclusive, only on Xbox. And what's also dumb is when you have your biggest mascot of all time, which used to be, actually not anymore, Forza's bigger than that, but there's no mascot for that. Why would you put it day one on Game Pass? You have to test your market. You would have got more sales if you would have done that. But of course, they didn't do that, right? So we see right here, 1.2 million sold across Xbox, PS5, and Steam. It only made 67 million revenue. 2.1 million Game Pass players, console and PC, which is separate from this. But you could have a Game Pass subscription and just go click on it. That doesn't mean anything. What matters is if you're getting money through this. Obviously, you would get money by getting the premium edition upgrade with Game Pass. Yeah, that's true, but that's not an actual sale. That's just getting that. If your Game Pass expires, it's void. It's no different than getting something on PlayStation Plus, and I bought the DLC because I was able to play through the whole thing on Plus. But once that PlayStation Plus expires, then I'm just stuck there with the DLC or the expansion. I have to have the base game to get that. You see what I mean? It's the same thing with that. So here's my thing. If you numbskulls at 343 and at Microsoft would have realized this game should have had multiplayer, I guarantee you this would have said like 3.2 million. Imagine that. And remember, this game cost probably around $200+ million. Easily. So they still haven't made their money back. In order for them to make their money back, this game needs to sell like 4 million copies. And to get a little bit of profit too, if you got the early access purchases with the premium edition or whatever that is. So realistically, they want this game to sell 5 million copies. Because then at that point, you would be making money. Like at least a decent amount of profit. And that's how bad it is in Xbox world. Because remember, this is not a $70 game. This is a $49.99 game. So if it sold 4 million copies, you make $200 million. Plus tax, yeah, probably 230 million. Early access and all that, you can get up to that. But what about marketing, budgets, and shipping and all that? Yeah, so it probably costs more than 200 million, but it's somewhere around that ballpark with, like I said, marketing and all that. So this game has to sell at least 4 million copies by the end of the year. Good thing you included PlayStation, because it could end up getting you to at least 2 million. You're gonna put it on sale, make a Switch 2 version. Hey, I guarantee you, if you do that, you're easily going to get 1 million sales at least lifetime. And if you have multiplayer, oh, add another 1 million and add another 2 million to PlayStation and another 1 million on Steam. Guess what? You're making hundreds of millions of dollars profit. But no, let's not do that, right? Let's see what he has to say here. Here we go, guys. Let's get into this. I wanted to cover that first. It's a flop, though. For Halo, that's a flop. That's like Sony launching a Naughty Dog game that only sells that even on one console. Yeah, imagine Uncharted doing that or something, or Sony's mascot games. Oh, that'd be terrible. Halo Campaign Evolve has sold 1.2 million copies, generating 67 million in revenue. The split roughly 42% on Xbox for console and PC, with Game Pass being removed because that doesn't count. 41% PlayStation and 17% Steam. They're talking about sales, not that. Like most, though no longer all Xbox first-party games, Halo launched straight into Game Pass. And about 2.1 million players jumped in via their subscription across console and PC, with a little under 600K forking out the extra $20 for the premium pass to play up to 5 days early, which was a scam because it was down 2 days. 1 day of Xbox Live being down, then almost a full day after that. Talk about a scam, right? Yeah, that's what happened, though. Then he says this right at the end. Cannibalized sales. Remember what the Doom dev said. Remember what everybody else was saying. Game Pass has literally destroyed the market, and Xbox gamers don't want to buy games. That's why you have more people getting on your most legendary franchise of all time on a renting service than people actually buying it. So that means PlayStation versus Xbox console sales. PlayStation gamers bought more copies of Halo than Xbox gamers did. We're not talking about Game Pass. We're not talking about PC, but just PlayStation 5 consoles versus Xbox consoles. Yeah, they do have a bigger base, but you're catered more to Halo. Historically, you should be supporting that because you're supposed to be pushing the exclusive agenda. That's what I try to tell you. Xbox fanboys are fake. More people play this on Game Pass. They don't buy games. Not even first party, not the biggest ones of all time, right? Though this didn't have multiplayer, they messed up on that. I have to say that's Microsoft and 343's fault right there. And we know about the development hell that it had also as well. So this will give you the idea. The 2.1 million players isn't nothing, because how many people are actually on Game Pass? How many subscribers do they actually have? Think about it. So you could already have it up. You didn't have to go subscribe, and you just went to hit the play button because it was already there. And if you wanted to play early, you just paid $20. Right? That's literally what they're saying. 600K out of that did that. But this is supposed to be Halo, right? So that's how many people did not want to go buy it and instead spend $20. But if you spent $20, $30 more would have gotten you the game, but they wanted to get the early access. Needless to say, that's a soft performance for a ground-up remake of one of the most iconic console shooters and games of all time. Nay, one of the most iconic shooters, full stop. So why the tepid numbers? Steam is the easiest to explain. Halo the Master Chief Collection, a compilation of the core Halo games with online multiplayer included, is on Steam for $40, cheaper than Campaign Evolve's $50 for just a campaign. Plus a few, let me add in, AI bonus missions and a visual polish on Unreal Engine 5's AI slop. Master Chief Collection has regularly dipped to $10 in the past, though not for almost 4 months now. No doubt a deliberate move to prop up Campaign Evolve's pretty slim value proposition. It didn't work. Yeah, I mean, you just do 4K, native, maxed out everything for the Master Chief Collection, and you're like, man, I already played this. What, you want me to go play these garbage AI missions? And you're not going to get me multiplayer? That's what I'm saying. Steam is like, wow, they weren't interested. Multiplayer would have changed the whole game. But of course they didn't do that. And having custom multiplayer content, making the whole world expansive, adding in a Forge, man, they could have made this way better. Third-person multiplayer game modes. You see what I'm saying? AGN's already giving you the ideas. and you could still add this in as an expansion. I don't know how many times I need to say this, but it's right here in front of your face. But yeah, it didn't work. It flopped. 1.2 million is not good for 3 platforms. Our Steam review sentiment analysis lands on the same 3 points. The price is too high for a port like this one, and the Halo brand, candidly, has lost a lot of cash. I love Halo Infinite for the record and feel that a bit of revisionist history is going on regarding how rad it is. The value proposition is too low. No competitive multiplayer, AG has been saying this, and the bonus missions were unpolished. The game was rushed, it wasn't finished. So not only did they give you an unfinished, rushed game because they had to cancel the other stuff and take it from a third-party outsourced development, they still gave you early access when it wasn't finished. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Early access is a scam. But of course, dumb Xbox fanboys like Lamester cannot figure that out. So yeah, they just want to defend everything. And then he had a Halo gamer picture as his profile on Twitter when the game launched, not realizing this stuff is embarrassing. But of course, can't figure that out, so it's not surprising. A lot of Steam users already own a Master Chief Collection, 8.5 million copies sold on Steam, as per our estimates, which offers more content for less. Campaign Evolve sold about 544,000 copies on PlayStation for $32 million. Pretty much half of that profit came from PlayStation. PlayStation carried it. And PlayStation will probably end up selling and at least give you 50 million over time, or maybe even more. I mean, that's what you're going to have to deal with because it's a $49.99 game. A touch under the Xbox console and Windows. You have to add in Windows to that. But if you just put Xbox console by itself, it doesn't do much for its own franchise. Exclusives are coming back. Let me go ahead. You don't even support games. Like I said, you don't buy games. Fake brand, fake base. Nothing new here. Dead results, dead platform. Figure minus the deluxe edition upsells, we reported last week, despite PlayStation 5's larger install base. The higher price was likely a factor again, but the bigger truth is that the Xbox faithful were simply far more primed for this than PlayStation owners were. They didn't care. That said, plenty of PlayStation 5 players jumped in for a novelty and a nostalgia hit. It makes sense, as plenty of 360 owners in the West defected to PlayStation 4. I've said this before too. After the botched Xbox One launch, a lot of them have already played Halo in the Xbox era. You needed to bring multiplayer to them. You saw what was going on. Black Ops, 11.2 million multiplayer. Yeah, that's a cohort of PlayStation players, roughly 32 to 40-year-olds who grew up on Halo and never forgot it. You can see them clearly in the PlayStation audience overlap, that is. The shared number of unique players between Campaign Evolved and other games. The top 10 skews heavily to that late PS2, 360, and early PS4 era. Where Gears of War Reloaded, that's a 7.1% overlap. Doom the Dark Ages, 5.2%. Black Flag Resynced, 4.3%. Borderlands 4, 4.3%. Oblivion Remaster. He's kind of giving you the idea of the overlap here. And that's why that percentage is like that. So yeah, shooters, remakes, and legacy-leaning titles galore. This landed with an older nostalgia driven crowd rather than pulling in a fresh PlayStation audience. As many have pointed out, a Master Chief Collection release on PlayStation 5, multiplayer and all, would certainly have done far better than this campaign-only devolved remake did. I have to add that in. And at the very least, if the rumored Halo 2 remake ships with online multiplayer, it will sell a great deal more, assuming it comes to PlayStation at all. He's 100% correct. So all of this actually makes sense. All you had to do was add multiplayer. The game was already finished. You don't have to make anything. But of course, are you guys surprised? So yeah, going down, I like how we all just ignore the obvious reason why it failed and come up with these long-winded excuses. He's not coming up with any excuses. He's just telling you. Yeah, it did fail. Everybody knows it. Thank you. Was the previous report inaccurate because you said 900K copies sold on Xbox? And he was like, no, that was Game Pass Premium Edition upgrades. That's not buying the game. No, buying the game will be buying the $49.99 edition or the $49.99 coming with the Premium Early Access upgrade for 20 extra bucks and buying it at 70. I told you this before. I can go buy Monster Hunter Wilds expansion or Monster Hunter World expansion and be sitting there, but I didn't buy Monster Hunter World. You see? Watch out for that, you know, because just like players does not mean sales. Oh yeah, 95% of Game Pass players pressed play on Halo. So 2 million players, but you didn't get any money. They just hit the play button. They didn't buy Halo to give you any money. They're just going towards the Game Pass revenue pool. What you want is sales, not players, not all this nonsense. Discounts is revenue and money, of course. I'm not saying that doesn't, but that's not a sell. Sell is $49.99 or the $69.99 premium edition. You see? Not hard to figure out, but you got to watch out for the Xbox world. It's fake. So Clue says, like most, though no longer all Xbox first-party games, Halo launched straight into Game Pass. Did I miss something? Are first-party titles no longer day one Game Pass? I enjoyed it for what it was, he said. So we're kind of getting the idea here. Halo won't be going to PlayStation anymore, and most Xbox games will no longer do so. You don't know about that. It ain't worth it. Asha wants people to buy an Xbox. This ain't Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond saying everything is an Xbox. What a stupid comment. First off, the only reason this didn't succeed, you numbskull, is because they didn't put multiplayer in it and they rushed the game out. Stop trying to make it seem like PlayStation didn't support it enough when it made the most money. The problem is it's no multiplayer, and a lot of butthurt Xbox fanboys and Xbox gamers that hated the Xbox One drama went to PlayStation 4. And a lot of them are on there that already played that and said no. And they probably, some of them probably have a PC and they've been playing the Master Chief Collection. And they've beaten that campaign probably 30 times. They don't want to see that again for a bunch of few side garbage missions that Bungie wouldn't have released at that time. Because that Bungie is superior. This team now, garbage. Need to lay them off. So there we have it. Become a member, leave a tip down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Halo flopped. Get over it. Let me know what you guys think. It's not AGN's fault. It's nobody's fault but Microsoft and the Halo Studios. You didn't include multiplayer and you rushed it out and you did it on purpose. And you scammed people on the early access. Xbox Live was down 2 days during that. But once again, see, I'm calling out the nonsense. Don't get mad because I'm speaking the truth and exposing it. Later. Be genuine.